Woof.
So this is changes to test ships and submarines 11.5 close testing. So this is just going over some of the changes that are made to the new British battleships. So the Tier 6, Tier 8, Renown and Hawk, they added engine boost to. The Tier 8 Hawk, they improved the Sigma from 1.5 to 1.6. And looks like they increased the stock firing range from 16.5 to 17.1. So probably all good ideas. Tier 9 battleship Duncan increased the maximum torpedo damage from 21,064 to 29,367. What the hell? Really? That's a BFT right there, folks. That's a big freaking torpedo. Holy cow.
Crap.
Exactly. Exactly, Bob. And then they decreased the torpedo arming distance. Then on your Tier 10 battleship, they did the same torpedo damage increase and arming distance decrease, which are buffs. And then the amount of hit points restored by specialized repair teams consumable from damage received to parts of the hull increased from 50 to 60%. So a little bit of a heal buff there. The British cruiser Hampshire, which I'm calling the bastard cruiser Hampshire because it looks more like a Japanese cruiser. The width of the torpedo spread was changed to apparently match what other British cruisers have. So okay, that's not a necessarily a buff or a nerf. It just is what it is. The Tier 7 Collingwood battleship, they added hydro to it. It's a 3-kilometer torp detection, 4-kilometer ship. And they added a main battery reload booster to it, which is interesting. The Japanese battleship Iwami at Tier 9, they increased the accuracy of the secondary battery guns, so they're similar to what the Georgia has. The Italian aircraft carrier Aquila, however you pronounce that. So they reduced the torpedo bombers on deck, so that's a nerf. But they added engine cooling consumables and patrol fighters, so those are buffs. I can't see that those are going to make like a gigantic difference. But here's the kicker right here. Changes to submarines. So in a previous Devblog, they increased the dispersion of the torpedo launchers. And apparently they decided that, well, we can't have DDs being able to go bow in on a sub and be able to dodge their torpedoes easily. So we made the dispersion too high. So we can't have that because then they might actually be able to damage or kill subs. So they reduced the dispersion. Look at this, from 11 to 3 degrees. I mean, it's not like from 11 to 9, like, oh, that was a little too much and we overcorrected it. No, we're not really. We're just going to say we're giving it dispersion. That's not that much dispersion. So, you're going from 16 to 5, 11 to 3 degrees. I mean, no, so now basically what you have is what I would call the mildest of nerfs to the torpedo spread launch. So not a big deal. Then this last thing, the sonar ping range reduced on the U4501. Okay, I don't know enough about that one to really comment, so I won't. But here's the big thing that I want to talk about, and I'm not going to talk about the whole thing, but these new ships here that came out on the 9th. So this was yesterday's blog. You've got a German battleship here, Anhalt, with 15. It's a Tier 8 battleship with 15 350 millimeter guns. Holy crap. Okay. You've got this Tier 10 Spanish destroyer. Not really sure about that. We'll have to see. Jury's out. I'm going to save this one for last. And then you have this Japanese submarine I56. And lastly, you have the European Super Destroyer Dalarna, which I'm thinking is a problem. Let's look at these parameters real quick. And the biggest thing I want to put out there first is The amount of hit points on this damn Japanese sub, and it's tier 8. Only 5 DDs in the game, I think it is, have more hit points than that. I mean, you've already made the things nearly impossible to kill, and now you're going to give them more hit points than the DDs that are supposed to be hunting them. Okay. All right, vodka's flowing freely in Warship Land. Now, the other one I will talk about, though, is this European Super Destroyer Dalarna. Now, here's what and I'm going to calculate this out. So, and maybe even I will, actually, I may even go to this filter tool here as well. Oh, come on. Thing's not working right. There we go. Go to DDs here. We're going to go to main battery. DP. Perfect. So this thing has 620 millimeter guns. So this is European guns. This is the same kind of guns that, you know, that you're going to find on the tier 10 boats that are already out there. And, you know, we've already got, let's see. Let's call this up real quick. We've already got Halland, Ragnar, and Småland. And, you know, Småland is supposedly borderline OP, if not outright OP, and Ragnar is not far off of it, okay? Småland's only got 4 guns with around a 1 point, I think if you build into it, you can get the reload down around 1.5-ish, something like that. So this thing has 6 guns with a base 2-second reload time. Now let's put that into DPM perspective. That's 180 shells. So you're basically firing 6 shells every 2 seconds. So that's 180 shells a minute. So we're going to bring out the calculator. 180 shells a minute times your 1750 HE damage. That's 315,000 HE DPM. If I go over to this filter tool and look, the Marceau, which has the best HE DPM in the game for a DD, is 250. You're giving this thing 60,000 more HE DPM than the Marceau. Are you kidding me? So yeah, that's like well over 20% more DPM than a Marceau. And here's where it gets even scarier. So that's base. So here's what happens. So let's start off by, you're going to put your tier 6 module on there that's going to give you a 12% reload buff. So we're going to multiply that by 1.12. Now we're at 352,000. Now we're also going to take the captain perk that gives you the 10% bonus when you're spotted if you're doing a gunboat build. So we're going to add 10% to that. And then why not add the 5% from BFT to it? So already we're up to 407,000 HEDPM. Oh, and by the way, you have AR as well. So if you're at half health, you can add another 10% to that. Now you're almost at 450,000 HEDPM if you're at half health in this thing. And just to give you a rough idea, if I add all of the cruisers that are in the game and look at their DPMs, you've got significantly more HEDPM than a damn Smolensk. What is this? What is this witchcraft? They are smoking and drinking some really, really good stuff. We need to figure out what is they're smoking and drinking at Wargaming, and we should all have some of it. It should come with the price of premium time, because I'd like to have some of what they got. Holy jeez. I mean, come on, people. I mean, this gets ridiculous. So yeah, you basically have a super Smolensk, and you know, It's one of the few boats that you can be tooling along in your Ragnar, you know, or your Smalland, and you say, oh, I think I'm going to catch this enemy DD, and you pop your radar, and it's like, oh shit. That's not what I hoped it was. You know, it's like, oh no, it's Dalarna. And I mean, and it's not going to be pleasant. And anybody that knows what they are doing in that boat is just going to crap on everything. Oh, and by the way, in addition to that, you still have 10, basically the same complement of torpedoes that you get on the Howland. These 86 knot, 15 kilometer torps. Oh, and you have alternate torps that are only 10 kilometer range and still 70 knots that do about 40% more damage. Jesus. And the other thing I failed to point out, I'm going to leave that boat alone. The other thing I failed to point out was Japanese submarine I56 also has one 140 millimeter gun on it that I believe the player can control and fire. And basically, it's SAP. It does pretty good damage, and it has a 2.3 second reload. So that thing can actually surface and take out low health DDs. So I don't know. We're just, that's crazy. Anyway, let's go over to World of Warships now. Oh my gosh, things are out of control. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see notifications of future videos, just ring the bell. Until next time, Tater Dawg says, woof.